the real challenge is not that companies don't have the data. The real challenge is that most people don't know how to understand that data quickly. Every business today is sitting on Excel sheets, sales reports, customer data, campaign numbers, financial records, survey responses, and performance dashboards, but turning all of that into clear answers still takes a lot of time. In fact, McKinsey reported that in 2025, 88% of organizations are now using AI in at least one business function. And IDC's Data Age 2025 report predicted that global data sphere would grow to more than 160 zettabytes by 2025. And this simply means that the amount of data around us is becoming massive. And this is exactly why tools like Julius AI are becoming so important. Julius AI is a data analysis tool that helps users upload datasets, ask questions in simple language, create visualizations, clean data, and find trends, along with understanding what the numbers are actually trying to say without spending hours writing formulas or manually checking every row. So, this topic is not just about learning one tool, it's about learning a faster and easier way to work with data. So whether you're a student, a business analyst, marketer, manager, a freelancer, or someone who regularly works with reports, Julius AI can help you save time, explain data clearly, and make better decisions from information that is already available in front of you. So now that we know what Julius AI can do, let's quickly look at what we're going to cover in this tutorial. What is Julius AI? We'll understand how Julius AI helps with analyzing data using simple prompts. Julius AI interface. Then we'll explore the dashboard, chat area, upload option, and main features. Uploading data. We will see how to upload Excel or CSV files for analysis. Asking better prompts. We will learn how to write clear questions to get better insights. Data analysis demo. We will use Julius AI to summarize data, find trends, and generate useful answers. Chart and visualization demo. We will create simple charts that can be used in reports or PPTs. Exporting results. We will see how to use final output for presentations, dashboards, or business decisions. So now before we move on, let me share something really exciting with you guys. If you're serious about building a career in AI, machine learning, or generative AI, then you should definitely check out the professional certificate course in generative AI and machine learning, which is in collaboration with Simplilearn. So this course is designed to help you go from AI basics to real industry level skills. Here you will learn Python, applied data science, machine learning, deep learning, generative AI, prompt engineering, large language models, NLP, computer vision, reinforcement learning, RAG, transformers, and more. And the best part is this. This is not just theory. You will get hands-on experience with real-world projects and capstones across areas like recommendation systems, stock trading, HR assistance, customer order analysis, predictive maintenance, insurance risk classification, retail shift compliance, telecom load forecasting, autonomous driving, and sales forecasting. Now you will also work with popular AI and ML tools like Python, ChatGPT, OpenAI, Hugging Face, LangChain, TensorFlow, Keras, NumPy, Scikit-learn, Matplotlib, OpenCV, GitHub Copilot, Google Colab, PyTorch, and more. So, whether you're a student, a working professional, developer, a data analyst, or someone planning to enter the AI field, this course can help you build practical AI skills. So, create a strong project portfolio and understand how AI is actually used in the real world. The link is in the description box below. Go check it out. So now, before we move ahead, here's a quick quiz question. What is Julius AI mainly used for? Is it A, editing videos, B, analyzing data, C, designing logos, or is it D, sending emails? Let us know your answers in the comments below. Hello everyone and welcome back to Simplilearn. Today, we're going to talk about Julius AI, a tool that's becoming useful for people who work with data, reports, spreadsheets, charts, and business summaries. So now, let's begin with a simple real-world situation. So let's imagine you have a large Excel file in front of you. It has sales numbers, customer details, dates, categories, regions, and profit values. Now someone asks you to quickly explain what is happening in that file, which region is doing well, which product is giving better profit, and which month had better performance, what should the business focus on next. So for many beginners, this can feel difficult because data can look very messy and confusing at first. But Julius AI helps make this process easier by allowing users to understand data through simple questions. And this is why tools like Julius AI are becoming popular on YouTube as well. Viewers are not looking for theory anymore. They want to understand how a tool can save on time, make work easier, and help them create useful outputs. Now, according to Microsoft's 2025 Work Trend Index, the study looked at 31,000 workers across 31 countries to understand how work is changing. Now, this shows that workplace productivity and faster decision-making are now major topics globally. So now let's move on and understand Julius AI in simple words. So now that we understand why this topic is important, let's first understand what Julius AI actually means. Now, Julius AI is a data analysis tool that helps users understand information from files like spreadsheets and documents. It helps people ask questions about their data to get some useful answers in a clear format. For example, if a file contains sales numbers, Julius AI can help explain total sales, compare regions, identify trends, and even create charts. And the important point here is that Julius AI is not only for advanced technical users. This is also useful for students, beginners, business teams, marketers, managers, and anyone who wants to work with reports. But they may not always know how to analyze data properly. That's why Julius AI reduces the difficulty by making the process more natural and easier to follow. Julius AI also supports common file types like CSV, Excel, PDF, and JSON, inclusive of images, which makes it useful for everyday workplace files. So now that we're clear about what Julius AI actually is, let's move on to why tools like this are becoming so popular. So now that we know what Julius AI is, let's go ahead and understand why it's becoming popular. The main reason is simple. People want faster answers from their data. So earlier, if someone wanted to analyze a spreadsheet, they often had to use formulas, filters, pivot tables, or dashboard tools. So these are useful skills, but they can take time to learn. So Julius AI makes the starting point easier because users can work with data in a more natural way. And this is one reason why content around tools like Julius AI performs so well on YouTube. So the audience wants to know how these tools can actually help them in real work and not just what the tool is. Students want to analyze assignments faster, analysts want to create summaries quickly, managers want reports before meetings, and business owners want to understand sales and customer data without going too deep into the technical details. And Microsoft's AI Economy Institute reported that global use of generative AI tools reached 16.3% of the world's total population in the second half of 2025. So this means that roughly 1 in 6 people were using these tools to learn, work, or solve problems. And this shows that people are actively adopting easier ways to complete everyday tasks. So now that we know why Julius AI is getting attention, let's try to understand the problem it solves. Now, the biggest problem with data is not always the size of the file. The bigger problem is knowing where to start. So a spreadsheet may have hundreds or thousands of rows, but the user may not know which column is important, which number to check first, or which chart to create. Now, this can slow down work. But Julius AI helps by making that first step easier. So it can help users understand what the data contains, find important patterns, compare values, and convert numbers into simple explanations. For example, instead of spending a lot of time manually checking every single row, a user can quickly understand the overall story inside the data. Now, this is useful because most people do not need data for the sake of data. They need answers. So they need to know what is working and what's not working and what can be improved. And Julius AI helps move from confusion to clarity. So now that we understand the problem Julius AI solves, let's take a look at who can use it. Now, Julius AI can be useful for many types of users. Students can use it to understand survey data, project data, or research files. Now, data analysts can use it to speed up basic analysis and reporting. Business analysts can use it to understand sales, customer, operation, or performance data. Marketing teams can use it to review campaign data and customer response. Managers can use it to prepare meeting summaries and quick business reviews. Small business owners can use it to understand sales, profit, and customer trends without needing a large amount of data teams. Now, this is why Julius AI is not only limited to one role. It's useful whenever data needs to be understood quickly. The key point here is that Julius AI helps users move from raw information to meaningful points. So now that we know who can use Julius AI, let's try to understand what it can help with. Julius AI can help with data summaries, number comparisons, charts, trend analysis, report writing, and decision-making support. For example, if a business has monthly sales data, Julius AI can help summarize the best performing month, the strong region, and the most profitable category, and the areas that need attention. Now, if a student has survey responses, it can help summarize common patterns, prepare key findings, and if a manager has a performance report, it can help turn that data into simple talking points. Another important use is visualization. Now, charts make data easier to understand because people can quickly see comparisons and trends. Another important use is visualization. Now, charts can make data easier to understand because people can quickly see comparisons and trends. Julius AI can help turn spreadsheet data into visuals like bar charts, line charts, and other useful formats. So Julius describes itself as a tool that can help users ask questions, generate visualizations, and share insights with teams. So now that we know what Julius AI can help with, let's move on to understand how it fits in the real workplace situation. Now let's try to connect it to real-world use cases. The first use case is sales analysis. A company which uses Julius AI to understand which region has the highest revenue, which product category is performing well, and which customer group brings more value. Now, the second use case is marketing analysis. A marketing team can review campaign performance and understand which campaign got better engagement or better results. Now, the third use case is student projects. Students can use Julius AI to summarize survey responses and create simple findings for assignments. The fourth use case is financial tracking. A small business owner can review expenses, profit, and sales performance more easily. The fifth use case is reporting. Now, teams can use Julius AI to convert data into short summaries that are easier to present in meetings. Now, these use cases are important because they show that Julius AI is not just a tool for creating charts. It can help users understand the story behind the numbers. So now that we have looked at real-world use cases, let's move on and understand how Julius AI helps with charts and reports. Now let's turn the focus to charts and reports. Data becomes more useful when it is presented clearly. So a table full of numbers may be difficult to understand, but a simple chart makes the message clear within seconds. For example, a bar chart compares sales by region. A line chart shows how sales changed month by month. A summary report can explain what the chart means and what action can be taken. So this is one of the reasons why Julius AI is useful. This can help users convert raw data into charts, summaries, and insights that are easier to explain. Where they want to see how a file can help become a chart, how a chart can become an insight, and how an insight can become a report. Now, reports are especially important in workplaces because decisions are not made only by looking at raw numbers. People need clear explanations. So now that we understand how Julius AI helps with charts and reports, let's first look at the main benefits. The first benefit is speed. Users can understand data faster instead of spending too much time manually checking everything. The second benefit is simplicity. Users can ask questions in plain language and get useful answers. The third benefit is a better presentation. Now, Julius AI can help turn data into charts and summaries and are easier to explain to others. The fourth benefit is confidence. Beginners who feel nervous about data can start with simple questions and slowly understand the file better. Now, the fifth benefit is productivity. Instead of spending all the time preparing numbers, users can spend more time understanding what the numbers mean. And this is important because modern workplaces are becoming faster. People are expected to make decisions quickly, prepare reports quickly, and explain data clearly. Now, Julius AI supports this kind of workflow by making data analysis more approachable. So now that we have understood the benefits, let's also try to understand the limitations and precautions. So now that we know the benefits of Julius AI, it's also important to understand its limitations. Julius AI can make data analysis easier, but users should still verify the answers. Any tool can misunderstand a column, calculate something differently, or give an answer that needs review. So users should not blindly copy the results without checking them. Another important precaution is data privacy. So if a file contains private customer details, financial information, employee information, or confidential business data, users should follow company rules before uploading it anywhere. Now, this is very important in professional environments. Julius AI should be used as a support tool and not as a replacement for human judgment. The user still needs to understand whether the result makes sense or not. For example, if a tool says that one product is most profitable, the user should check whether that conclusion matches the data. Now, this habit of reviewing results is what makes the analysis reliable. So now that we're clear with the limitations and precautions, let's move on to the best practices. So the first best practice is to use clean data. Clean data means clear column names, proper values, and fewer blank cells. Now, if the file is messy, the results may become confusing. The second best practice is to ask clear questions. A clear question gives clearer answers. For example, instead of asking for a general analysis, it's better to ask for a specific comparison or summary. Now, the third best practice is to start simple. Users should first understand what the file contains, then move towards comparisons, charts, and reports. The fourth best practice is to review the result. Users should check whether the answer matches the data or whether the chart is showing the correct message. So the fifth best practice is to use the output as a starting point. Julius AI can help users quickly understand the data, but the final conclusion should come from careful thinking. Now, these best practices help users get better and safer results. Now that we have understood the best practices, let's quickly recap everything that we have covered. Now, let's quickly summarize what we have learned in this session. We started by understanding why Julius AI is relevant today, especially when people are working with more data, reports, and spreadsheets. Then we understood what Julius AI is in simple words. So this is a tool that can help users understand data, create charts, and help prepare summaries in an easier way. After that, we discussed why Julius AI is becoming popular, especially because people want faster and simple ways to work with data. Then we looked at the main problem which Julius AI solves, and this is helping users move from raw data to clearer answers. We also discussed who can use Julius AI, including students, analysts, business teams, managers, marketers, and small business owners. Then we understood what Julius AI can help with, including summaries, comparisons, charts, insights, and reports. We also explored real-world use cases like sales analysis, marketing analysis, student projects, financial tracking, and business reporting. After that, we looked at the benefits, limitations, precautions, and best practices. So the main takeaway is simple. Julius AI can help users understand data faster, but the final responsibility is still with the user. Clear questions, clean data, and careful review are the key to getting useful results. Now, with the right approach, Julius AI can become a helpful tool for learning, reporting, and everyday workplace productivity. Now, let's move on to the practical part and explore the Julius AI workspace. So, once you open Julius AI and sign in, you will be taken to the main workspace, as you can see here on my screen. So, this is where most of the work happens, and the interface is designed around a simple idea. You upload your data, ask it some questions in natural language, and Julius AI helps you analyze it. So in the center, you will usually find a main chat area. So this is where we will be typing our prompts and interacting with Julius. Now on the other side, you may see sections such as previous chats, uploaded files, notebooks, or workspace teams. Now the layout may change slightly over time, but the core workflow remains the same. So upload a dataset, ask questions, generate insights, and create outputs like summaries, charts, and reports. Now for this tutorial, we will be using a sample sales dataset named juliussalesdemo.csv. So this dataset contains columns such as order ID, order date, region, product category, sales, profit quantity, and customer type. I have selected this type of dataset because it's simple enough for beginners to understand, but still practical enough to demonstrate real analysis. Now with this file, we can calculate total sales, compare profit across product categories, analyze regional performance, identify customer patterns, and create useful charts. So instead of spending time creating the dataset manually, we will use this ready-made file and focus directly on the main goal, learning how Julius AI can help us move from raw data to clear business insights. So now that we understand the workspace and the dataset that we're going to use, let's begin the first demo by uploading the file into Julius AI and asking it to summarize the data. So now let's go ahead and upload our dataset onto Julius. So I'm on the Julius chat page. I shall now click on the upload option, which is the paperclip icon. After clicking it, I will select the file from my computer. So let me go ahead and show you how that's done. So let me go and upload files. So in my recent downloads. So as you can see, I've selected the file from my computer and the file's name is juliussalesdemo.csv. So once I've selected the file, I'm going to wait for Julius to upload it. After the file is uploaded, Julius can now read the dataset and answer the questions based on it. So now this is the starting point of our analysis. So let's go ahead and type, please read this file, tell me what this dataset contains. So as you can see, Julius data is going to read the files and tell you what the file is actually containing. So this may tell you how many rows are present and what columns are available, including what type of information the file contains. So now let's understand this in simple words. Rows are individual records in the file. For example, each sales order can be one row. Columns are the fields in the file. For example, order date is a column, region is a column, sales is a column, and profit is a column. So when Julius AI summarizes the dataset, it's helping us understand the structure of the file before we start deeper analysis. Now I shall ask Julius to show a small preview of the data. So show me the first few rows of this data set in a table. So now this prompt is useful because it helps us quickly check whether Julius has read the file correctly. So we can see the first few rows and confirm whether the data column, region column, sales column, and the profit column are appearing properly. So as you can see, all of the data has been appearing here as asked. So now I shall go ahead and ask one more important question before analysis. And that is, are there any missing values or blank cells in this data set? So now this step is important because missing values can affect our analysis. For example, if some sales values are blank, then total sales may not be correct. And if some region names are missing, then region-wise analysis may not be complete. So now if Julius says that there are missing values, we can ask it how to handle them. Now I shall type the follow-up prompt. Suggest the best way to handle the missing values in the data set. So now if there are no missing values, we can continue directly. But if there are missing values, Julius may suggest filling them, removing incomplete rows, and reviewing those records manually. So at this stage, we have completed the first important step. We have uploaded the file. check what it contains, preview the data, and check for missing values. So now that our data set is ready inside Julius, let's move on to asking basic questions from the data. So now let's go ahead and start asking it some simple business questions. We will begin with basic questions because this is how beginners should approach any data set. Firstly, I shall ask Julius to calculate total sales. So let me start with what is the total sales in this particular data set. So this prompt tells Julius to add all of the values in the sales column and gives us one final number. Now this helps us understand the overall sales value in the data set, and following that I shall ask about the total profit. So what is the total profit in the data set? So here we're asking Julius to add all of the values in the profit column. Sales and profit are not the same over here. Sales means the total revenue or the total amount sold, and profit here means the amount which is left after costs. So while explaining this part, we should make it clear that high sales do not always mean high profit. A product can sell a lot but still give low profit. Now I shall ask Julius to compare regions. So for that, let me give the following prompt. Which region has the highest sale in total? So now this prompt helps us identify the best performing region. Now Julius will group the data by region and calculate total sales for each region. For example, if the data set has north, south, east and west, Julius will add the sales for each region separately and tell us which one is the highest. Now this is useful in business because it quickly shows where the performance is strong. Now I shall ask about product categories. So which product category has the highest value of profit? So now this prompt is useful because we are not only checking sales. Here we are checking profit. So category may have average sales but strong profit. So this question helps us find which category is actually giving us better returns. Now let me go ahead and ask Julius to show us the top orders. Show me the top 5 orders per sales amount. So now this prompt tells Julius to sort the data based on sales amount and show the top 5 orders. So sorting means arranging data from highest to lowest or lowest to highest. In this case, we want the highest sales first. This is useful because we want to identify the biggest transactions. Now I shall ask about customer type. So for that, which customer type has the highest sale? Let me just go ahead and attach one more word, in average. So this helps us understand which customer type usually places higher value orders. Now I shall ask Julius for simple observations. So give me 3 simple observations from this data set. So now this is a very useful beginner-friendly prompt because we may not know what to ask the data set. In that case, we can ask Julius to give us 3 simple observations. So now Julius may tell us which region has the highest sales, which product category is most profitable, or which customer type is performing well. Now we should remember that observations are starting points. We should use them to ask better follow-up questions. So now that we have asked basic questions and understood the main numbers, we shall move on to creating visuals because charts make data easier to understand. So charts are useful because they help us understand patterns quickly. So instead of reading too many rows and numbers, we can look at a graph and understand what is happening. I shall now show you how to create a simple bar chart. For that, I will type this prompt. Create a bar chart showing the sales in total by region. Now Julius will help us calculate total sales for each region and then finally create a bar chart. So a bar chart is useful when we want to compare categories. Here the categories are regions and the value is total sales. Now once the chart appears, we can explain it in simple words. So the taller the bar, the higher the sales. So if one region has much taller bar than the others, so that means that that region has outperformed better in terms of sales. Now I shall make the chart even clearer. Add a clear title to the chart and label the x-axis as region and y-axis as sales. So now this prompt is extremely useful because charts should be easier to understand. A chart without a title and labels can confuse viewers. So we are asking Julius to make the chart more presentation friendly. Now I shall go ahead and create another chart, but this time we will look at the profit. Create a bar chart showing total profit by category. So these were the results for the previous title prompt, as you can see here on the screen. So now for the following prompt, I will go ahead and create a bar chart showing total profit by category. So when I'm running this prompt, so this chart helps us compare product categories based on profit. Now, this is important because the category with the highest sales may not always have the highest profit. So once the chart appears, we can explain the category which is most profitable and which category needs attention. Now let me go ahead and create a trend chart. Create a line chart showing the sales trend based on the order. So a line chart here is useful when we want to see changes over time. So here Julius will use the order date column, group sales month by month and show trend as a line chart. So when the line goes up, sales are increasing, and when the line is going down, sales are decreasing. So this is the kind of chart which is useful for monthly business reports, and now I shall ask Julius to explain the chart. So explain the monthly sales chart trends in simple words. So now this particular prompt is useful because after creating a chart, we also need to explain what the chart means. So Julius may tell us which month had the highest sales, which month had lower sales, and whether the overall trend is increasing or decreasing. Now I shall create one more visual. Create a pie chart showing sales share by customer. So a pie chart is useful when we want to understand the share or percentage. If one customer type takes a large part of the circle, it means that the customer type contributes to a large number of sales. But we should also remember one simple rule. Pie charts are useful only when we have a few number of categories. If there are too many categories, a bar chart is usually easier to read. So now I shall check if Julius gives us an option to download, export or copy and save the chart. So if the download option is available, we can download the chart and use it in a report or presentation. If the copy options are available, we can copy the result and paste it wherever needed. At this stage, we have created different visuals from the same file. We created a region-wise sales chart, product-wise profit chart, a monthly sales trend chart, and a customer type share chart. So now that we know how to create visuals, let's move on to one more useful part where we will be generating insights and preparing a small report. Charts are helpful, but in real work, we really need to explain what charts mean. For example, if you're presenting to a manager, we cannot be showing a chart and stop. We need to say what is working and what is not working, what action can be taken and what not. I shall now ask Julius to give us key business insights. So let me go ahead and type the prompt, analyze the charts above and give me some key business insights which I can share with my team or clients. So this prompt asks Julius to look across the file and identify important points. It may talk about the best performing region, the most profitable product category, the customer type with strong sales, or visible trends. Insights are meaningful observations from the data, and they help us understand the numbers. Now I shall ask Julius to suggest actions. So the prompt is, suggest 3 actions a business team can take based on analysis. So the prompt is, suggest 3 actions a business team can take based on analysis. So this is a practical prompt. Julius may suggest improving marketing in weaker regions, focusing more on profitable categories, or reviewing low profit products. But they are useful starting points for discussion. So now I shall ask Julius to create a short report from this data set with the following sections. And I'll add the sections over here, which is overview, key findings, charts, recommended actions, charts needed. So now this prompt is useful because it gives Julius a clear structure. So instead of asking for a general summary, we are telling Julius exactly how the report should be organized. The overview section can explain what the dataset contains. The key findings section can explain the most important observations. The charts needed section can mention which charts should be included. The recommended action section can give practical next steps. Now I shall ask Julius to make the report easier to present. So rewrite this report in a beginner-friendly way. It seems that I have run out of credits over here. So usually what happens is, this helps us convert the output into a clean format that can be used in a presentation, an email, or a meeting note. You can also ask Julius to make the report shorter. Apart from that, you can also ask it to create speaking points. So with that, we have come to the end of this demo. To wrap up, Julius AI is a very useful tool for anyone who wants to understand data faster without getting stuck in complex formulas or manual analysis. This helps you upload data, ask simple questions, create charts, find patterns, and turn raw numbers into clean insights. So, whether you're a beginner, a student, an analyst, or working professional, learning Julius AI can make your data work much easier and more effective. Subscribe to Simplilearn for more such insights and check out our related videos.